several sales tax accounts with different states, are you now permitted to close them now that eBay and Amazon are collecting sales tax for you? Well, the answer is maybe, and I'm going to explain all that in the next 10 minutes, and the rest of the video after that will be all a live Q&A. So if you're watching this on replay, probably what you're interested in is just the first 10 minutes. So this all relates back to a Supreme Court case called South Dakota versus Wayfair, Wayfair being wayfair.com. Quick history lesson here because you got to understand this to understand where this is all coming from. So the old rule, let's get into my computer. This will help you understand it. The old rule was basically that you only had to collect sales tax for states that you lived in or had a physical presence in. So at the time I started dropshipping, I was living in New York. I didn't have employees in other states. I didn't have warehouses in other states. I was just in New York. So I could ship items to customers in Pennsylvania, Nevada, California, Colorado, Texas, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, and I would not have to charge those customers sales tax. The only customers I had to charge sales tax to were customers of mine that I shipped items to in New York. If an item shipped to New York, I had to collect sales tax, and every quarter, I had to send that sales tax to New York State. That was it. Then in 2018, with that Supreme Court case, that all changed, and the states were basically allowed to set their own rules, kind of. So basically, most of the states said that, hey, if you ship at least $100,000 worth of products into our state, or you have 200 orders that you ship into our state, then you have to start collecting sales tax for us. So for instance, Michigan, if I sold $100,000 worth of products into Michigan in 1 year, then I would have to start collecting sales tax for them. Now that's pretty high for a lot of states. It's not high for like California, but California's is actually higher. I think it's like 500,000. But it's a 200 transactions that got us. So we easily shipped 200 items into Michigan and Alabama each year, for instance. So we had to start collecting for a lot of these states that are green right here. It wasn't that bad because we had some software that helped us with it, but it was definitely a pain, and states recognized that. And that's why states started to pass these laws called marketplace facilitator laws. And let's take one step back. When we had to start collecting sales tax for all these states, we actually had to register and get a sales tax account or permit with these states. So we had a lot of sales tax permits for a bunch of states that you see here that are green. Following that, states passed these marketplace facilitator laws, which basically said that, you know what, instead of making the small sellers like you and I collect a sales tax and remit it, they are going to require that eBay and Amazon and other marketplace sellers do it for us. So we see now eBay and Amazon collecting sales tax for all the states that you see that are green on the screen right now. That's great. That means we don't have to do it even if we hit that 200 transactions or 100,000 transaction threshold. Great. But now the question is, now that eBay and Amazon are collecting sales tax for us, can we now close our sales tax accounts with all those states that we previously registered for? Or is there another reason why we might need to start collecting why we might need to register with those states even though eBay and Amazon is collecting for us? So that's kind of what we have to answer right now. So the first thing you need to ask yourself is keep a list of what platforms you are selling products on. And I say the word platforms, that includes eBay, Amazon, Shopify, Etsy, anything that you're selling on, make a list of it. Second, what state are you looking to close? Maybe you previously, back when this all happened in 2018, you signed up for a sales tax account with Michigan. Maybe you're looking, hey, can I close that account with Michigan? Or maybe you have one for Connecticut. Can you close that one for Connecticut? And third, you have to ask yourself, is eBay and Amazon or whatever platforms you're selling on, are they collecting sales tax for that state? So in other words, are the platforms I'm selling on, are they taking care of Michigan sales tax for me? And fourth, will the state actually let you close it? And that's a harder question to answer. We'll get into that. So the best way to do this is with some examples. So in the first example, let's say you live in New York and you're selling products into Michigan, okay? And you're selling on eBay and Amazon. Now, underneath this video, the 4th, 5th, and 6th link are going to be all the things I'm showing you on the screen right now. So right here on this page, so this is the 5th link. If you go down to any of the states, so we're going to type in Michigan. Here it is. We're going to see that marketplace adoption, Amazon and eBay. So again, in this example, we're only selling on Amazon and eBay, and we see that effective January 1st, Amazon and eBay are collecting for us. Excellent. So now we know we don't have to collect sales tax because Amazon and eBay are doing it for us for the state of Michigan. But the harder question then is, will Michigan still allow us to close our sales tax account? And that's a harder question to answer. And the 6th link is the best resource that I found to answer that. You can go through all these, and like here's one that says Michigan. So we're going to open up that one. And there's a bullet point here that says, should I cancel my existing registration? And it says, if there is no presence in the state and the economic threshold is not met, then the marketplace seller does not need to remain registered. So that says that, yes, if eBay and Amazon are collecting for you and that's all that you're selling on, then you can go ahead and close that account. But they do suggest that you actually go in and contact Michigan to double check that. And that's what I recommend as well, because there are some states that will require you to keep your license up to date and to keep your registration anyway. So that's example number 1. Let's go into another example because there are a lot of nuances here. Example 2. Let's say, same thing, you live in New York and you ship your items into Michigan, but let's say you only sell on Shopify. So you're selling on Shopify here. So again, we're going to come down to Michigan. And we see here, marketplace adoption, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Walmart. Do we see Shopify here? No, and that's because Shopify is not a marketplace seller. You're not selling on a marketplace when you're selling on Shopify. You're building your own website. So what that means is that if you're selling $100,000 worth of products or 200 products a year from your Shopify store into Michigan, then you do have to keep your sales tax license, your sales tax permit. All right. Example number 3 right here. Let's go back up to the map. Let's say the platforms you're selling on are Shopify and eBay. And again, you live in New York and you're shipping these items into Michigan. And let's say, for the sake of this example, you sell 199 products a year into Michigan from your eBay store and only 1 product a year from Shopify. So the question is, do you have to keep your sales tax permit? And the answer is yes. Yes, you do. Because remember, they're not taking, Shopify is not a marketplace. So you do have to collect and remit sales tax for any items that you are, in this example, that you're selling through Shopify. Now you might be saying, well, most of the sales are coming from eBay. Aren't they split up? And the answer is no. You have one business here. If this is all under one business, think of it as an umbrella, right? Your sales tax is an umbrella. It covers all the different marketplaces that you sell on, assuming it's all one business. So if you have 199 sales coming from eBay and 1 sale coming from Shopify, then you've hit the threshold in Michigan, and you have to keep your sales tax permit and keep it relevant and continue to file, because the total amount is 200, even though most of it comes from eBay, and even though most of that, therefore, is being collected and remitted by eBay. In that example, I would actually say stop selling to Michigan from Shopify, and you can then close down your account. So I hope that made sense. A little bit confusing, but basically, if you are selling on more than one platform, and one of those platforms isn't handling sales tax for you, or let's say you're selling directly to customers, you still have to maintain your permit if overall you're hitting the threshold, even if a lot of that is being handled by a marketplace. So that's example number 3. And we're going to get actually a little bit harder here. Let's say you live in New York, you're shipping items into Michigan. Let's say you're only selling on eBay and you have one employee that lives in Michigan. Can you close your sales tax account? The answer is no. And that's because if you have a physical presence in any of these states, you must still maintain your sales tax permit. So that rule still exists. The physical presence test still exists. If you have employees or warehouses in any of the states, then you cannot close your sales tax permit with that state, even if eBay and Amazon are handling all the sales tax for you and you're not selling on something like Shopify. Let's get an even harder one. Let's say you're based in New York and you only sell on Amazon FBA, and that's it. Can you close your sales tax permit with Michigan? And the answer is no. And that's because you will have that physical presence in Michigan because some of the Amazon FBA warehouses are located in Michigan. So that's a bit outside the scope of this video, but that's just something to be aware of. If you sell on FBA, you want to look at exactly what warehouses or which warehouses your items are located in, because that could actually create a physical presence in that state if you have items in that warehouse. So for instance, Michigan says, if you're selling on Amazon FBA and you have items in a warehouse that's located in Michigan, then you have a physical presence in Michigan. You're required to have a sales tax permit, even if Amazon is handling the sales tax for you. And we'll get more into that in a minute. The only exception to that is New York. There are FBA warehouses in New York, and New York has said that if you have items stored in an FBA warehouse in New York, that alone does not create the physical presence. So that alone won't require you to have a sales tax permit with New York. That's the only exception. So I know that was a lot, right? I mean, there's a lot of different examples, a lot of different nuances. So let me give you the quick summary that's going to apply to most of you. If you're selling on eBay and Amazon, then they are handling sales tax for you in all of the states here that you see are green. And again, this is the 5th link underneath this video. So check that out. They are handling sales tax for all of these states. And for most of these states, you can close your sales tax permit. But you should go to the next link and kind of search around here. Try to find your state. And this will let you know more or less for most of the states whether you have to or whether you're allowed to close your sales tax permit or not. So for instance, Connecticut, if you were thinking of closing your Connecticut one, Connecticut's one that they require you to keep it open, even if eBay and Amazon are handling everything for you. Now, the next question is, should you cancel it, right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. And look, if you're looking to expand, if you're selling on eBay and Amazon and you're thinking, hey, I might be selling on Shopify soon, then you'd want to keep them open. Or if you're thinking about hiring employees or starting up warehouses in these other states or doing Amazon FBA, then you might want to keep some of those open as well. So think more long-term, but you can always close and reopen later as well. It could just kind of be a pain. Next question, how do you actually cancel the sales tax permits? It's different for every state, but for the most part, when you go to file your next sales tax return with the state that you're looking to close, there's usually a box you can check off that says, this is my last sales tax return and I'm closing it down. And you can go ahead and do that. And that's what you should do for most states. If that's not what you do, or you don't see that option, then you can contact the state or start Googling around, and the answer, I'm sure, is out there. The big question that I know a lot of you are going to ask are, okay, let's say like Connecticut, eBay and Amazon are collecting sales tax for me, but Connecticut's requiring me to keep my sales tax permit. What do I do then? Do I have to still file with these states? And the answer is yes, you still have to file with these states. But this is the way that you do it. Let's say eBay and Amazon is collecting all the sales tax for you. Then for most states, what they want you to do is file your sales tax return, give the total amount of sales you've made into that state for the time period of the return, which is usually a quarter. And then there's usually another place that you can enter how much of the sales tax was collected by a marketplace like eBay and Amazon. So in the example where you're selling on eBay and Amazon, that would be 100% of the sales tax would have been collected by eBay and Amazon. So then you would file, that would be a $0 return. Another example, let's say you're selling again into like Michigan again, and let's say you're selling on both eBay and Shopify. So you don't have to worry about the eBay sales, but you do have to worry about the sales from Shopify. So in that case, again, it's different for every state, but for a lot of the states, what they want is the total number, the total amount that you've sold into Michigan or into that state from both eBay and Shopify. And then there will be another line you can enter to offset how much eBay collected for you. And then you'd only be responsible for the Shopify portion. And of course, that would then put the responsibility on you to collect the sales tax from the customer and actually remit it to these states. So I hope that answers your question. I know I've been getting this question a lot and I was kind of wondering it myself, but that is the basic breakdown. The good news is that eBay and Amazon, if you're selling on there, and Walmart, and we can jump in here and see that for a lot of these states, let me zoom out, sorry about that. We see Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Walmart. So that's great that they're collecting sales tax for a lot of states for us. And you can close sales tax permits in a lot of them. Just make sure that you look it up. Go ahead and check out the links in the description because that will help answer your questions. All right, so I'm going to jump now in the live chat. If you guys need any clarification about that, I know it can be a little bit confusing. So just ask any examples maybe. I can run through some more examples and I'll let you guys, or hopefully be able to explain this in the best way possible. So Rich, thank you for being here. What's up, man? What products you all think he's selling? I've been going live almost every day for the past 2 weeks, and I've been talking a lot about what I've been selling. So go ahead and check out some of my prior live streams from earlier this week, and you can see exactly what we've been selling. My Lipsky reminder went off perfect. Wash hands. So it sounds like Cool Positive Contact has set up alerts on their phone for when I go live. So if you don't want to miss the next live stream, make sure to subscribe from your phone and also hit that little bell notification. You actually get a pop-up on your phone. I'll show you what it looks like. Kind of looks like that. Come on, focus. Well, it's there at the bottom and it tells you when I go live so that you don't miss the next live stream. Are office products working for the rest of you? Absolutely. I'm getting lots of attention from them. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of people who are trying to work from home for the first time. And we're seeing office products, anything that people need to set up a home office are exploding right now. What's up, Paul from Oklahoma? What is up, Aaron? Thanks for being here. Cool Positive Contact. Drop in some other products that are doing well right now. Crayons, pool toys, plastic swimming pools, printer paper. I didn't even think of printer paper. That's a good one. What's up, Lazy Abram? Thanks for being back again. Don't we need to keep our sales tax permits to say tax exempt for purchases, says Eric. So you only need your sales tax permits for one, the state that you physically live in, because that will get you sales tax exempt in most states. And then two, any other states that that you want to become tax exempt in that you weren't that aren't covered by the streamlined sales tax and use form. So a little bit outside the scope of, it's getting a little bit in the weeds there, but that's basically what you would want to keep. Okay, what's up, Dustin? What's up, Noah? Thanks for being back. Yeah, so exactly what Andrew's saying. I'm from New Mexico, but I keep my California permit just because Walmart requires a permit for tax-exempt purchases. I even have to file a return quarterly for $0. So Andrew sounds like he knows exactly what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so eBay is taking care of sales tax for him, but he's still filing a quarterly $0 return so that he can remain tax exempt in California. Because California is one of the special ones that doesn't accept out-of-state resale certificates. So he has to have a California one in order to not pay sales tax when he buys items that are shipping into California. What's up? What's up? Jacob says, "Hey, and Paul, I'm a member of your Titans course. Woohoo! An awesome thumbnail, by the way, or avatar. I was wondering what I should do with my products that are being shipped by the supplier late in the month due to COVID-19. Should I delete them?" So what you should do is increase your handling and shipping time. We have ours much longer than we normally do for some of our suppliers like Walmart, because we do see them shipping out items later. We're doing that, and then you can also message the customers and let them know what's going on. We've had customers really understanding during this time period because they understand that things are just kind of outside of everyone's control right now. Camping tents are actually selling on Amazon. I sold 8 of the same model in the past 2 weeks. That's curious to me. I'm not sure why camping tents, because a lot of state parks are closed and things like that. So that one kind of is a head scratcher for me. Do I teach PayPal or eBay managed payments in my courses? Still PayPal, because that is the option available to most people. Most people do not have access to managed payments yet. I want to start drop shipping. Is $600 enough to start? Yep, absolutely. You really don't need that much to get started with drop shipping because the overhead is so low. Remember, with drop shipping, you're not physically buying the products until someone buys them from you. So you don't need as much upfront capital as you would with something like Amazon FBA, for instance. Hi, Paul. How do you file sales tax for the state that you live in if eBay is collecting the tax? Since that's the only state sales tax now I have to keep. So, Albert, let's say you live in New York. Just to kind of give a concrete example. So you have a sales tax permit in New York because you have to because you have a physical presence there. But eBay is handling that for you. What do? Well, again, you still have to file a return. The best way for me to say this is, if you have a sales tax permit, then you have to file a return. Even if eBay and Amazon is handling sales tax for you for those states. Whatever states you have a sales tax permit for, you have to file a return for those states. So file a return, and again, you will put in there how much you collected in total, and then you will offset it by how much the marketplace or a marketplace collected, which would be 100%. So then you would file a return for $0. You wouldn't owe anything for that. And that's what they want you to do. Now, a lot of those states where you have to keep the sales tax permit, you can actually contact them and change your filing frequency. So some states make you file every month, some every quarter, and some once a year. You want to make it so you only have to file once a year because it's going to be $0 anyway. And unfortunately, one of the most confusing parts about this and why this is so hard to kind of teach or to explain is because every state is different. Every state has a different threshold. Some say you have to sell at least $100,000 worth of products into our state or 200 items. Some states say $100,000 worth of products and 100 orders or 200 orders. And some say it's 500,000. Some say $250,000. Some say 150,000. And then next year they're going to change it to 100,000. So they're all changing. They're all different. And they all have different rules about whether you have to keep that permit or whether you can get rid of it if a marketplace is handling it for you. And all different processes for closing those accounts and all different processes if you're filing a $0 return. Some states, for instance, if you don't actually owe them sales tax because eBay and Amazon's collecting for you, all you literally do is enter $0 everywhere. You don't even have to tell them how much eBay and Amazon collected. So very different for every state. That's why you should get rid of the ones that you don't need, and just keep the ones that you need, either because you have a physical presence in those states, or eBay and Amazon isn't collecting, or if you're doing Shopify, or if you want to stay tax exempt for those states. People are camping in their yards as something fun to do. I guess that's fun. There are still places to camp also. Okay. I'm in Colorado right now, Tim. It looks like you actually do some hiking, but in Colorado, we were told that, wait, was it Colorado? Yeah, we were told that a lot of the hiking trails you're not allowed to go on anymore. So that's why I kind of figured it was happening elsewhere too. Okay. Cool. All right, guys. So I think I've answered all the questions you guys had about sales tax. I really wanted to make this video because I know it's not going to be my most viewed video on YouTube, but I do know that a lot of you had this question. So if you did find this helpful, I would really appreciate it if you hit that like button down below. This was a question that I answered because someone underneath one of my videos asked this question. So if you have any questions for me, ask them in the comment section of any of my videos. Either I'll answer it with a quick message or I'll actually make a video like this. So again, if you found it helpful, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and any questions, leave them in the comment section of any of my videos and I'll either answer them right away or make a whole video about it. You guys also make sure to subscribe to the channel, and in the description of this video, I have a ton of resources for you. Some really amazing stuff. If you're looking to get started dropshipping online, I have some free training videos you can check out. So go ahead and check those out. Those should be like the second and third link in the description. I think, and then underneath that or somewhere are all the links to TaxJar that I showed you in this video. I think I got the number wrong. I don't think it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th one after all. But it's all in there. You'll find it. Don't worry. Check out the description for all those details. I'm trying to go live every single day during the week while we are in lockdown, assuming I actually have something important to tell you guys about. I'm not just going to go live. There's nothing to talk about. But I'm trying to be here for you guys, trying to answer any questions and provide support during these weird times. So if you guys want to join us, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification so you get alerted on your phone when I do go live. I appreciate everyone that hung out with me today. People like Rich, who's echoing my sentiment that TaxJar is a great resource for information. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye for now.